Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Brentford versus Chelsea preview. Now, we haven't been eating much as Chelsea fans. We're going a bit hungry. We're getting a bit belly grumbling. You know what I'm saying? We've been starving. We just want a grain of rice under the door frame at this point. We are desperate to cook, which is why this video is sponsored. Check it out. Yo people, I'm taking the lateness out of the greatness because you already know what time it is. It's time to eat. Now, you already know your boy's been making videos for years, but what you didn't know is I used to miss meals most of the time through a lack of energy or a workload pileup. Why do you think your brother is so skinny? But with HelloFresh, I've been able to get healthy food delivered to my door, perfectly packaged, ready for me to cook in 20 to 25 minutes. I'm no Gordon Ramsay. My family can attest to this, more than you can believe, guys. But what I love is that it comes with simple instructions to follow step by step. This time around, I chose the chicken korma, my favorite curry, but you guys can choose from a variety of different options with multiple meals in your box. You can set up the deliveries for scheduled days and weeks in advance to really plan ahead with what suits your routine. You can get 60% off your first box and 20% off the next 2 months plus free gifts using the code Matisse60 via the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. Enjoy the food, guys. It's on me. They call it all you can eat Chelsea. So big up to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. It's very rare that you see sponsors on this channel. And that's not because there's a shortage. It's because we only offer the best. Only offer what is genuinely something that we will eat and we will feed. And we will be there. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's a great deal. I hope you guys will see the QR code on the screen. It's a great deal. You can't go wrong. Everybody eats food. And it's great quality, healthy food as well. And like I said, your boy is trying to pack on the pound. So get stuck in. Link is in the description. And the QR code is on the screen as well, Matisse60. So let's get into this video. Very calm press conference, thankfully. No drama. No sound bites for the media. No, animosity. No comparisons, no nothing. Just they tried it with the Gary Neville stuff again, but thankfully we're just pushing on and moving on now at this point. So it's a good presser from that aspect. It's obviously easier after a win against Leeds, no matter how it comes, nail biting as it was. Pochettino says obviously the mood is easier to lift. There's a couple of things we're going to go through and then we're going to get straight to the teams and straight to the tactics and the talk on the game because our record against Brentford is worrying. And I guess we'll get that part out of the way first. Brentford, a tough team to play for us. I know they're struggling in the league. Tony's missed half the season. He's now back. He's been amongst the goals. But these are the last 6 games we played up against Brentford. Brentford won. Chelsea won. 1-0 win against Brentford there. The Mendy masterclass in the Premier League, if you remember, at the GTEC Community Stadium under Tuchel. Real tough game, but we fought through it. 2-0 win in the EFL Cup. 4-1 home defeat at Stamford Bridge. I remember that very well. That was wild. We got absolutely destroyed. 0-0 away at their place, 2-0 defeat at home, and then 2-0 defeat at home again. This season we lost. No Mbuemo, thankfully, in this match. He's been a thorn in our side. But as you can see there, that record is not good at all. It's very, very, very disturbing, especially in the last 4 games. 3 defeats and 1 draw. It's a physical side. It's a team that is going to do exactly what it says on the tin. We know a 3-5-2. We know the balls are going to be coming into the box. We know the physicality. We know the 2 strikers and the set pieces and the long throws potentially. But there is no Pinnock. And we've seen in recent games since he's been out, their defense has crumbled. They've made individual errors, especially against Liverpool. I thought defensively they were awful. So we can see something there in terms of our attack and trying to get our goals on the, trying to get ourselves on the score sheet. But my concern would be, of course, defensively, set pieces. Can we mark the right players? Can we stick with our man? Can we clear our lines? Can we handle those situations? I think whenever you come up against a 2, before we get to the press conference quotes, whenever you come up against a 2-striker system, you always potentially look to having maybe 3 at the back and splitting your centre-backs out wide, easier for build-up. You've got 3 centre-backs in there for aerial situations to outnumber them and try to dominate that zone and that area, that 6-yard box. But Chalobah's just come off an injury. That will be our first quote. I go from the press conference. Is he going to play back-to-back games in a couple of days? That's the only other centre-back. I think Silva, after just being taken off the rehabilitation roster, scroll bar at the bottom of the screen, he is back. Could be in the squad. Kukurea is back, could be in the squad. The rest is as it was. Obviously, Nkuku's been added to that list of injuries. I think it's too soon for Silva. So it's more of a, is Chalobah going to play? Is he going to be on the bench? Like I said, a couple of games in the space of a couple of days. He's just come back. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be back on the bench again and be slowly reintegrated back into the side. But Pochettino, with our first quote, does say I'm happy for him because he was sad for a long period. It's like now with Lavia. You feel the pain for these guys. We are happy he is with the team. Obviously speaking on his recent injury and how long he's been out for. Again, he was gone from like the earlier parts of the season. We just didn't really know what the severity of the injury was until we realised how long he was out for and was like, wow, this is a real problem. Same with Carney Chukwuemeka to a degree. Now, Pochettino knows who he's going to play in goal tomorrow, but he doesn't disclose this to the public, also in that presser. Now, people have been worried about Petrovic and Sanchez, and when he comes back, how is this going to be? For me, I'm not worried. I really don't think Petrovic is going to be dropped at all from this Premier League starting 11. I know Sanchez played against Leeds. There was other rotations against Leeds. I think that's normal. One, because we played 120 minutes against Liverpool. Two, because you need to get sharpness and, some sort of opportunity to those players, just in case we need them. If someone gets injured, which is likely because it always happens, they need to be on their toes and ready and motivated and integrated. But I think for the Premier League, it's not like Sanchez had the greatest game against Leeds. He was not great at all. We're going to get Petrovic back into the side. I don't believe this incredible ball playing ability that Sanchez is going to bring that really makes this an argument between the two. The only thing I will say is obviously Petrovic on cross collection needs to improve. But Sanchez, for me, he doesn't bring any composure, calmness, steady Eddie head in that back line. He just kind of unsettles it for me. And Petrovic, I think, has been really good. So Petrovic comes back in goal. I think he'll start. I'm not worried in the slightest. He spoke on Gallagher as well in that presser. Like I said, there was a little inkling of some Gary Neville talk again at the start. Let's just move on. Pointless. I know journalists are trying to drip feed and, really squeeze the sponge or make lemonade out of the lemons that Pochettino loves, but we're not interested in this Gary Neville stuff anymore. We're moving on now. But he did speak on Gallagher. Again, the news, the circulation of whether he'll stay, whether he won't. This is why in my previous preview, I spoke about the lack of comparison to Liverpool and City in terms of hierarchy to manager, because we're not in sync. We're clearly looking to sell Gallagher. We always have been in the last 3 windows. That's not something those directors would do with their managers, is sell a key player that they rate and rank. But Gallagher is pure profit and Gallagher is available. Now, for me, I don't think Gallagher goes if Pochettino stays, because I think he continues to get the game time, and that means he can continue to run his contract down and Gallagher can't lose. He either gets a new contract in a November, December of this year when Chelsea really panic and say, we have to give you your terms because we can't afford to let you go for free because that's not of any use to us. Or he does go for free and he gets a bumper contract because, no transfer fee means bigger signing on fee, and he goes to whatever club he picks. But if Pochettino is sacked in the summer and the new manager comes in and they don't really see Gallagher as such a key player, then it could create more of a back and forth over his future. So we'll see how that pans out. But obviously Pochettino again speaks of him glowingly about the coaching staff, how they love him and he loves them. And obviously him taking the best decision for the team, which is to play Gallagher. And to be honest, obviously, when Carney Chukwuemeka is available, certain games, low blocks at home. When Nkuku is available, best position is the 10. But these two are not here. So Gallagher has to play. Gallagher has to play in that 10. 2 reasons. One, because he started to chip in with some goals. I know the finishing wasn't great in the Carabao Cup final, but he's starting to chip in with some goals. But also, because of the lack of rotation in the midfield, Enzo and Caicedo, we saw Caicedo literally collapse in the last game at the end. Those two are dead on their feet. Caicedo especially. He's been left to die in that midfield many times. He's been covering, a lot of large spaces. He's being absolutely used and abused, right? And it really, really worries me because I don't know if he's going to get injured or what's going to happen. Touch wood, it doesn't. But we don't have any cover, first team cover this maybe alludes to why did we let Andre Santos go? He's not necessarily starting at Strasbourg yet for Patrick Vieira. Why couldn't we keep him? He's a very good player. We saw him pre-season. He's got something about him, some tenacity, some ability. Why couldn't we keep him and have him as a backup when we know Okachukwu and Lavia have had injury issues, but we let him go on loan? Alex Matos is now at Huddersfield doing his thing. We've had young players that we could have played or kept to keep ourselves alive in the engine room, to keep ourselves ticking. Now, obviously, people have complained about not using academy players. There's been Tyreek George. There's been so many other, names that have popped up. Samuel Smith, all these guys. Campbell as well, I think, has popped up. Now, there's two sides to this story, right? I sympathise with the fact that Gray plays for Leeds, 17 years old, talent, really good performance at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool, they bring in their young guys, great performances. So why can't we do that? Why can't we have the bravery to bring someone from the academy? Our academy is meant to be really great, and have them on the bench in this game and bring them in when Caicedo's dying, right? So that's one side. And we're going to probably have to look at doing that just so we don't get these guys injured. But then the flip side is, of course, the lack of stability. Those two teams we just spoke about are in good form in their respective leagues. Liverpool top, Leeds second. They're coming into stable environments. They're coming into happy environments. They're coming into non-toxic environments. They're integrating young players into environments where they probably are already leaders in the team. They're in good form. The structure, the system is clicking. It's moving. We are the complete opposite. This is not a healthy environment to bring a young player in from the academy. This is not a healthy environment to bring in a player to have a lack of leaders around them and a lack of accountability across the board. So, and also we've got so many young players that now you're bringing in another one to have to teach and, develop and, all these things and understand the nuances of playing at this level and all this thing. So there's two sides to it. I get both sides. That's the story. Where do you side? You let me know in the comments below. But, we're going to have to think of another solution at some point because it doesn't seem like Lavia and Okachukwu are anywhere near coming back fit. So that's Gallagher. Gallagher kind of has to play because he's got the legs, the durability to cover those two in their times of need. What we also need to do in this game is keep the ball. We need to keep the ball better. We can't be playing this rock and roll back and forth because it doesn't suit everybody in the team. It suits some. It doesn't suit everybody. It suits Gallagher. It doesn't suit Enzo. But more importantly, if we are struggling with fatigue, if we are getting tired, if we don't have the numbers in the midfield, we need to keep the ball. If you keep the ball, you can control the tempo. You can dictate the speed of the game. You can take the sting out of it. If we're going to continue to keep being direct, now I get why we're direct because I don't think we're good against low blocks. We don't necessarily have the technician in the 10 right now. If Gallagher's there to open up and split defenses, we're not there yet in terms of the City levels of, let's just methodically play our way through, not always. And also, the patterns and the lack of, plan in terms of the way we are attacking. Whether that's down to too many rotations or it's down to, lack of ability in some areas out wide or whatever. The manager not being able to do it, whatever. It's a mixture. So we need to keep the ball. I feel like we need to be able to go through gears. Too many times Chelsea are in the one gear. And the one gear sometimes will have them creating chances and running in behind and, into space, but also will have them losing the ball because they're still trying to be direct and then having to defend a lot or having to get bopped around by leads. There needs to be gears. Move into first, move into second, go back down to first, go to third, go to fourth, come back down to second. We need to be able to say, all right, next 5 minutes, we're leading the game. Let's just calm it down. Let's just keep the ball. Let's string 5, 6, 7, 8 passes together. And we haven't really been able to do that. It's been loose touches, whatever it is. So if we can do that against Brentford, that would be great. We know, like I said, what they're going to do in terms of their threats. We need to be dealing with the physicality. Tony's on some decent form. He's going to be a problem. Maybe this is audition for him. Osimhen scored a hat-trick against Sassuolo. We have, brother at Sporting, escapes my mind, head loss, but he did very well against Benfica. I believe he got a goal. Obviously, we've been looking at their manager. The scouts have been there. Sesko, he's been doing his thing. Tony, there's loads of different, guys at the moment doing their thing, and we're probably keeping tabs on all of them, and this is a clear position that we're going to have to invest in. But Tony is up against us. Maybe it's an audition. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we just need to be able to... We are a better team in terms of technical level. We should be able to come here and control and, see a style and play our game. Obviously, don't give away stupid free kicks. Caicedo. Be careful on that. You're playing well, in my opinion, more than people in the media want to give credit to. But the fouls and the tackling technique is something to keep an eye on. You need to be careful there. We don't want stupid free kicks. We don't want silly set pieces. So watch all that. My team, ideally, I'd probably like to have a variation of a back three here where we could defend that box better. But we don't have these options, in my opinion. So it is Petrovic, it is Gusto, it is Chilwell, it is Disasi, it is Colwell, it's Caicedo, it's Enzo, it's Gallagher, it's Palmer, it's Jackson, and it's Mudryk. That's the only part of the pitch which is up for conversation is Mudryk versus Sterling. Sterling is a player that is inconsistent, is up and down. His defensive work rate is questioned, and rightly so. He's on really good money, so there's obviously going to be a conversation over whether he is really fully motivated right now in his career, because not only is he coming towards a tail end, which I don't think is his prime. I don't think everybody's prime is the same. I think when you start at 16, 17 at Liverpool, your prime is not going to be 29. It's going to be been and gone at City. He's done it. His prime is done. He's comfortable. He might be comfortable, right? He's not really a leader. He's comfortable. He's good. So where's that extra light in it? Where's that fire coming from inside his... Now, we know where Mudryk's fire is coming from. He hasn't done anything in his career. He's got definitely more than enough to fight for in terms of accomplishing things. But obviously, he's inconsistent and his attributes are there, but then sometimes he doesn't bring them to the table. I'm just playing him because he had a good game and Sterling is not exactly untouchable at all. So give him an opportunity now. He's shown what he can do against Leeds, and we'll take a little bit out of that because it's Leeds, but, he's in the 10, did very well. Lovely switches of play, got a goal, some lovely little scoops into nice areas. Like, he showed parts of his game that I'm like, okay, I didn't know you could do this in the 10. I'm not going to lie. Now, like I said, it's Leeds, so we're going to be careful. But he's off the left. Now, for me, if Chilwell's at left back, he should be high and wide. He should be making those runs overlapping. And then Mudryk can still take those inside pockets. I'm not asking Mudryk in this game to be on the touchline, get chalk on your boots. That really should be Chilwell, right? Because you're not as technically inspiring on the ball. Mudryk maybe can give us something on the ball here and there, like, depending on the day. You not really. You're not that guy on the ball. Your off the ball runs, maybe some goals, being dry. We haven't really seen much, but that kind of thing. Wing back, overload, there you go, sweep it in type situation. So let's see. In the pocket, left half space, Enzo passing it, punching it into you. Give us turns, give us flicks, give us Jackson connections. Let's see if you can follow this Leeds up with another performance. And that's the team. That's the team. We know what we're going to have to deal with. We know what we need to do. We need to win the game. Pochettino, if you can get this team going through different gears and having elements of control, that would be great. It would probably help the fatigue. It would. And that's it, guys. That's it. So I'm not going to give a prediction because I don't want to. Just want to win, but don't want to give a prediction. But you let me know yours in the comments down below. This can go very wrong because of the record against them, or it can go right because they're not in good form. So let's see which one it is. But yeah, let me know your team in the comments down below and let me know your scores. Make sure you scan the QR code, HelloFresh, Matisse, 60% off your first box, then 20% off your boxes thereafter. Good food, healthy, can cook in 20 to 30 minutes, easy, to your door, delivered in a beautiful way, packaged, perfection. It's wonderful, genuinely. If you're struggling with the schedules, if you haven't got time, if you don't like to cook, there you have it. It's there. And it's doing very well for me. So, guys, until next time, make sure you smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you for the watch along tomorrow, along with the review. And then we'll be covering the Manchester Derby. And yes, I will be covering the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, the Bahrain Grand Prix for Formula One, first weekend back. If you don't care about F1, you can just shut the video off. But for those that do, we used to cover them on Twitch. We will be doing the watch-alongs on here this season. Now, this is in conjunction with the Manchester United game because they're both at the same time. So it's going to be a mixed watch-along. It's going to be both. Mainly Man United Derby, Manchester Derby, but the Formula One will be on. I'll be keeping up with it as well on the other screen. But in the future, if the time is just blocked off by itself, we will do more F1 watch-alongs in the season. Try and do maybe every race. We'll see if we can do it. And yeah, looking forward to bringing that to the channel as well. Just the watch-alongs, nothing more. No sprints, no qualifiers, just a race. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash up the likes. In a bit, people. Peace.
La